Hold on to your hats, Dodgers Nation, because what I'm about to reveal will blow your mind. We're talking about a seismic shift in the baseball landscape. A move so bold and so perfectly calculated that ESPN analysts are literally saying no one can stop the Dodgers now. This isn't just another free agent rumor or some speculative hot stove chatter. This is real. This is happening. And this could be the move that cements a dynasty for the ages. The Los Angeles Dodgers are aggressively pursuing Toronto Blue Jays star Bichette in what sources are calling a massive $189 million deal. Yes, you heard that correctly. The back-to-back World Series champions aren't taking their foot off the gas. They're not sitting back and admiring their rings. They're going for the throat. They want a three-peat, something that hasn't been done in over 2 decades. And they've identified the exact player who can make it happen. This isn't just about adding another name to the roster. This is about surgical precision and roster construction. This is about identifying the one glaring weakness on an otherwise dominant team and obliterating it with one of the most underrated offensive forces in baseball. Bichette represents everything the Dodgers need right now. Elite contact skills, consistent production, clutch hitting, championship experience despite being just 27 years old, and perhaps most importantly, the ability to play second base at a level that would immediately transform the Dodgers infield from good to absolutely elite. Let me paint you a picture of what this lineup would look like. Imagine Shohei Ohtani, the best player on planet Earth, flanked by Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and now Bichette. That's not just a murderer's row. That's an absolute gauntlet of elite hitting that would make opposing pitchers lose sleep at night. There would be no easy outs, no breathers, no spots in the order where you can relax and throw fastballs down the middle. Every single at-bat would be a battle, and the Dodgers would win most of them. But before we dive deep into why this move is absolutely genius, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why does second base matter so much? Why is this position the key to everything? The answer is simple but stark. Second base has been the Achilles heel of this Dodgers team for 2 consecutive seasons. While they've had enough firepower everywhere else to mask the deficiency, it's been painfully obvious to anyone watching closely that this position has been a black hole in the lineup. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers. During the 2025 season, Dodgers second basemen collectively hit just .239. That's not good. That's actively bad. They rank 24th in Major League Baseball in ops at that position, 24th out of 30 teams. For a roster that prides itself on having elite hitters at every position, that's unacceptable. But it gets worse. In the postseason, when the lights are brightest and the pressure is highest, second base became even more of a liability. The production from that position dropped to .233, and after the wild card round, it plummeted to a horrific .213. Now, the Dodgers still won the World Series. So you might be thinking, why does it matter? Here's why. They won in spite of that weakness, not because of it. Their starting rotation was phenomenal. They hit timely home runs in crucial moments. But there were stretches where the offense struggled for consistency, where they couldn't string together quality at-bats, where they desperately needed someone to just get on base and keep a rally going. That's what Bichette brings to the table. He's the missing piece that turns a championship team into a juggernaut. Dave Schoenfield of ESPN broke down the situation perfectly when he wrote that while the Dodgers hit enough home runs to win the World Series, the starting rotation really carried them to the title. The offense is getting older. With Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts now in what could be considered the post-peak stages of their careers, they're still elite players, don't get me wrong, but Father Time is undefeated. Adding a young, productive bat like Bachette's doesn't just fill a hole. It injects youth, energy, and consistency into a lineup that needs all three. Now let's talk about Bichette, the player, because his story is fascinating. After a down year in 2024, where he hit just .225 and was 30% below league average, many people wondered if he was a one-dimensional player who had been figured out. The whispers started. Maybe he wasn't as good as we thought. Maybe that initial success was a fluke. Maybe teams had adjusted to him and he couldn't adjust back. Then 2025 happened. and Bashette absolutely silenced every single doubter. When healthy, he was 34% above league average. 34%. That's not just good, that's elite. His strikeout rate dropped to the lowest mark of his career. His chase rate, which measures how often a hitter swings at pitches outside the strike zone, fell to a career low. His contact rates both in the zone and on pitches outside the zone reached career highs by every single meaningful metric. Bichette was one of the best pure hitters in baseball. The only thing that held him back was injury. He sprained his PCL on September 6th, which ended his regular season prematurely. That's a tough break for any player, but especially for someone in a contract year trying to prove his worth. But here's where the story gets even better. Bichette didn't play again until the World Series, and when he did, he was clearly hobbled. He was limping between bases. He couldn't move laterally the way he normally does. And yet he went 8 for 23 in 7 World Series games. He walked 4 times and struck out just 4 times, showing remarkable plate discipline despite playing hurt. And in the biggest moment, Game 7 of the World Series, he crushed a massive 3-run home run that helped propel the Blue Jays to their championship. That's the kind of player the Dodgers want. That's championship DNA. That's someone who performs when everything is on the line. That's exactly the type of mentality that fits perfectly with the Dodgers' culture of excellence. Now, here's where the move gets really interesting from a strategic standpoint. Bashette has primarily been a shortstop throughout his career. To be blunt, his defensive numbers there have been rough. Last season, he posted -12 defensive runs saved and -13 outs above average at short. Those are not good numbers. In fact, they're bad enough that many teams have wondered whether he needs to change positions entirely. But here's the genius of the Dodgers' plan. They don't need him at shortstop. They have Mookie Betts there, and Mookie just had an absolutely remarkable season at short, finishing 3rd in Gold Glove voting in his first full year at the position. What the Dodgers need is for Bichette to play second base, which is exactly what he did during the Blue Jays World Series run. And guess what? He looked completely natural there. He hadn't played the position regularly since his minor league days, yet he stepped in seamlessly and performed well defensively while maintaining his elite offensive production. Moving Bichette to second base solves multiple problems simultaneously. It takes the defensive pressure off him, allowing him to focus on what he does best, which is hit. It keeps Mookie at shortstop, where he's proven he can excel. It stabilizes the entire infield defensively. And most importantly, it gives the Dodgers exactly the offensive consistency they've been desperately lacking at second base for 2 straight years. But this move also raises a fascinating question about Mookie Betts' future. Mookie accomplished something truly special. At over 30 years old, he transitioned from the outfield to shortstop, which is widely considered the most difficult defensive position in baseball, and he not only survived but thrived. He proved every single doubter wrong. He showed that age is just a number, and that elite athletes can still learn new positions and excel at them. The question now becomes, has Mookie scratched that itch? Did he prove what he needed to prove? Because here's the reality. If Mookie's last play at shortstop was that 6-3 double play to end the World Series, what a way to go out. He could ride off into the sunset, move back to second base, or the outfield. And no one could ever question his defensive versatility or commitment to winning again. And here's why that matters. As great as Mookie's defense has been throughout his Hall of Fame career, and he's a 6-time Gold Glove winner in right field, his true value has always been his bat. If Mookie Betts had played this level of defense his entire career, but been just an average or slightly above average hitter, he wouldn't sniff the Hall of Fame. It's the combination of elite defense and elite offense that makes him special. But last year, while his defense was phenomenal, his offense was just solid. He finished with a 104 weighted runs created plus, meaning he was 4% above league average. That's good. But it's not vintage Mookie. The Dodgers owe Mookie Betts $235 million through 2032. That's 7 more seasons and a massive financial commitment. They need to maximize his value over that stretch. If playing shortstop every day takes too much out of him offensively, If the mental and physical demands of preparing to play the most difficult position on the field leave him with less energy for hitting, then moving him back to second base makes perfect sense. Imagine this scenario. Mookie moves to second base, where the defensive demands are less taxing. Bichette slides in at second base. Bichette takes second, and Mookie stays at short. Actually, let me clarify the exact configuration. If Bichette plays second and Mookie stays at short, you have two elite defenders up the middle with two elite bats. But if Mookie moves back to second and Bichette plays short, you're asking Bichette to play a position where he's been demonstrably below average. The smart move is Bichette at second, Mookie at short, at least for now. But here's another wrinkle. What if the plan is to have Mookie at second base with Bichette at short initially, and then evaluate over time? What if they want to give Mookie the option to move to a less demanding position so he can focus on his offense? The flexibility this gives the Dodgers is enormous. They can adjust based on performance, health, and what makes the most sense for maximizing the value of a roster full of superstars. Let's talk contract projections, because this is where things get really interesting. Various analysts have projected wildly different contract values for Bichette. On the lower end, some think he'll get 5 years and $130 million. That's the number ESPN's Dave Schenfield cited, noting that at that price, Bichette easily fits into the Dodgers' payroll while still leaving them money to sign a closer. On the higher end, some projections have him getting 8 years and $200 million or more, the $118.9 million figure being reported suggests something in between, probably 6 or 7 years. That seems like the sweet spot where both sides can be happy. Bichette gets the long-term security he's looking for after betting on himself with a strong bounce-back season. The Dodgers get his prime years from 27 through 32 or 33, which should be peak production years. And if the final years of the deal aren't as productive, well, it's the cost of doing business when you're trying to win championships. The injury concern is real. That PCL sprain that ended his season is not something to take lightly. Knee injuries can linger, especially for position players who need lateral quickness and explosiveness. But Bichette played through it in the World Series and performed well, which suggests it's not a long-term structural issue. The Dodgers medical staff would obviously need to thoroughly evaluate him, but all indications are that he should be fully healthy for spring training. Here's what makes this move even more brilliant. The free agent market for infielders this year is not particularly strong at the top end. Alex Bregman is out there, but he's older and will command a massive contract. Pete Alonso is a first baseman, which doesn't help the Dodgers. There aren't a lot of elite middle infield options available. So if you're the Dodgers and you want to upgrade second base, Bichette represents one of the best available options, and potentially the best fit for what they need. The alternative would be to stand pat with what they have, or try to make a trade. But why trade away prospects when you can simply sign a free agent who fills your exact need? This is exactly the type of move that separates great organizations from good ones. The Dodgers identified a weakness. They found the perfect player to address it, and they're willing to spend the money necessary to make it happen. Now, let's talk about what this means for the rest of the roster. If the Dodgers sign Bichette, it gives them incredible flexibility in how they approach the rest of the offseason. They wouldn't need to pursue another high-profile infielder. They could focus their remaining resources on the outfield, where they have some question marks, or on the bullpen, where they could use an elite closer. Names like Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger have been floated as potential targets. Imagine if the Dodgers sign Bichette and then trade for Tucker or sign Bellinger. Suddenly, you're looking at a lineup that's almost unfair. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Bichette, and either Tucker or Bellinger. That's 5 legitimate all-star caliber hitters in the same lineup. How do you pitch around that? The answer is you can't. You just have to execute pitches and hope for the best. The conversation around Japanese players is also fascinating. Multiple elite Japanese players could be coming to Major League Baseball this offseason, including Muntaka Murakami, who broke Sadaharu Oh's 60-year-old home run record, and pitcher Tatsuya Imi, who some scouts compared to a Yoshinobu Yamamoto starter kit. The Dodgers already have a massive advantage in recruiting Japanese players thanks to having Ohtani and Yamamoto on the roster. Adding more talent from Japan would only strengthen their position as the premier destination for international stars. But let's bring this back to Bichette. The Blue Jays' World Series run showcased something that the Dodgers clearly noticed and value. Toronto succeeded because they combined elite contact skills with power. They put the bat on the ball at high rates, but they also hit it hard when they made contact. It wasn't one or the other. It was both. They had their cake and ate it too. Bichette embodies that philosophy perfectly. He's not a slap hitter who just tries to put the ball in play. He has legitimate power. He can drive the ball into gaps. He can hit home runs. He can drive in runs. But he also doesn't strike out at alarming rates like so many modern hitters. In an era where strikeout rates are through the roof across baseball, having multiple hitters who consistently put the ball in play is a competitive advantage. The Blue Jays also played fundamentally sound defense during their championship run. Bashette was part of that. While his defensive metrics at shortstop over his career haven't been great, he showed during the World Series that he can be competent at second base. And competent might be all the Dodgers need given how strong their defense is everywhere else. Let's talk about what this means for the Dodgers' championship odds. They're already widely considered favorites to win the World Series in 2026. Adding Bichette would make them overwhelming favorites. We could be looking at a team that wins 100-plus games in the regular season and enters October as one of the most dominant squads in recent memory. The National League West would essentially be playing for second place. The Diamondbacks, Padres, Giants, and Rockies would all be looking up at a Dodgers team that's lapping the field. The entire National League would be on notice. Want to win a pennant? You're going through Los Angeles, and good luck with that. Even American League teams should be concerned. If the Dodgers make the World Series, beating them 4 times in 7 games would require near perfection. You'd need elite starting pitching to shut down their lineup. You'd need timely hitting against their rotation. You'd need to avoid mistakes because they'd capitalize on every single one. That's a tall order against any great team. But against this potential Dodgers roster, it would be borderline impossible. From a legacy perspective, we're talking about history here. If the Dodgers win 3 straight World Series titles, they'd join the most exclusive club in baseball. The last team to three-peat was the Yankees from 1998 through 2000. Before that, you have to go back to the Yankees of 1998 through 2000. These are dynasty-level accomplishments that define eras. For the players involved, it would cement Hall of Fame credentials. Mookie Betts would add to his already impressive resume. Freddie Freeman would further his case as one of the greatest first basemen ever. Shohei Ohtani would add team success to his otherworldly individual brilliance. And Bichette, if he signs and contributes to a three-peat, would forever be known as a key piece of a historic run. The financial commitment from the Dodgers. Ownership is what truly separates them from other organizations. While some teams are penny-pinching and worrying about luxury tax thresholds, the Dodgers are asking how much more talent they can add. It's a completely different mentality, and it stems from ownership that's committed to winning above everything else. Critics will inevitably say they're buying championships, but that completely misses the point. Yes, they're spending money, but they're spending it intelligently. They're not just throwing cash at big names. They're identifying specific needs, finding players who fit those needs perfectly, and then making it happen. That requires organizational excellence at every level, not just a willingness to spend. The Bichette pursuit exemplifies this perfectly. He's not the biggest name in free agency. He won't generate the same headlines as some other stars. But he's exactly what the